By 2050, India's cities will be home to 850 million people, or 40% of its population. But how will they be housed, and what role will architects play in planning the emerging urban landscapes? In Mumbai, an exhibition titled "The State of Architecture, Practices and Processes in India" explores these issues while tracing the history of the profession since 1947. Take a look.
Does architecture matter? The question that lies at the heart of the exhibition. At a time when many in the profession believe architecture has lost its relevance in contemporary India.
Architecture has now become co-opted by 1% of the population in constructing what you might call architecture of indulgence. It's a coupling between real estate forces and glossy magazines that the architect has really become a lifestyle designer. That's how the architect is projected. And magazines that cover interior, celebrity homes, objects, and then they also tag it with where you can buy those objects. It's all about lifestyle.
Or about nostalgia and numbers.
Architecture itself is getting lost in questions of conservation and urbanization. So at one level you are restricting architecture to a certain fancy or imagination of history. On another side, architecture is reduced to sort of number crunching game, whether it's number crunching in terms of areas and FSI or it's number crunching in terms of money.
The exhibition, divided into 3 sections, presents data on the profession, a historic overview, and showcases emerging practices including 80 projects from around the country, while reclaiming the role of the architect in the India of the future.
And spatial possibilities in the broader sense, infrastructure, institutions, housing, and the relationship between these, and how that represents people's aspirations. And this has completely gone out of the discussion.
But that's not how it started out. From the time Jawaharlal Nehru invited the Swiss-French architect Le Corbusier to reimagine India as a modern nation, unfettered by the traditions of the past, the state played a critical role in creating new landscapes. Government offices, public buildings, and educational campuses across the country, encouraging a generation of architects to experiment with style and material. Whether it was the Mati Ghar at the Indira Gandhi Centre for Arts, conceived by Sanjay Prakash as a gallery space, the Tara Group Housing Society in New Delhi, and the Gandhi Smarak Sangralaya at Sabarmati Ashram by Charles Correa, the Belgian Embassy in the capital's diplomatic enclave by Satish Gujral, and Raj Rewal's Hall of Nations at Pragati Maidan. But by the early 1990s, the state began to withdraw its patronage.
This sort of fuzziness in patronage kind of results in a mind-boggling sort of spectrum of pluralism. So you have weird adjacencies, you have glass stars next to kind of social housing, you have materials, sometimes steel, glass, and sometimes just brick and mud. It's just bizarre because it all doesn't come together, because there are different forms of patronage, different aspirations, different economic groups all operating together in the same space. And it's that pluralism that I think is playing itself out in the built environment.
And it's not the only challenge.
So somewhere the architect will have to recover the role of the activist, the person who engaged willingly with society through the act of building making, not denying the act of building making.
With cameraman Rajendra Dayalkar, in Mumbai, Shikha Trivedi for NDTV.